presence.
Right.
And from there we went to his working active presence. What example did we use when we talked about Yahweh's working active presence? What example did we use? Give me your attention, please. Okay, time for division is over. What did you remember? What did we talk about when we talked about Yahweh's working presence? Nothing? Everybody just, nobody paid attention? What were we talking about when we talked about his working presence? What example did we give? Does anyone remember what the examples was?
2 Chronicles chapter 20.
Correct. Thank you, Governor. 2 Chronicles, so when your governor tells you he listens to the broadcast, he's not kidding. 2 Chronicles chapter 20, where Yahweh told Jehoshaphat, stand still and do what? Do nothing, because you're in relationship with me, and because in your relationship with me, I will do all the work and you don't have to do anything. Okay? And we learned what Yeshua meant by greater works than I do, that you shall do, even greater works than I do. Okay, we learned what that meant last week. So if you didn't pay attention, get the tape. Today I want to talk about his irresistible presence.
Yes.
Yahweh knows we need a little bit of his irresistible presence. Irresistible presence is built on the other three. It's built on common, relational, and working active presence. Moshe Rabbeinu learned not to move without his irresistible presence. Yahweh agrees to go with us because he loves us. When we worship him, he loves us and finds us irresistible. Did you get that? If we're plugged into personal presence and we breathe the common presence, and we let Yahweh do his ministry, Yeshua HaMashiach do his ministries through us, we raise the dead, we heal the sick, because Yeshua said, I can do it, you can not do it, without me you can do nothing. Simple. So, we are the recipients of his working active presence. But then there's a deeper level than relational presence, because Yahweh has a working active presence through all those who have relational presence. But then there is the irresistible presence, and that's where you got to get made up, girl.
All right now.
Or man. Or get built up. So that Yahweh finds you irresistible. And when you don't spend time with Yahweh, he comes a knocking at your door. And you get convicted. I haven't been praying. I haven't been fellowshipping. I've been away from the body of believers. I don't feel he loves me anymore. I'm confused. I feel that he's a million miles away. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
So in those times, you will find that Yahweh's presence is an irresistible presence, but it is an irresistible presence to those who make themselves irresistible. That's why he made us. That's why Yeshua redeemed us when we fell into gross darkness. His irresistible presence, listen, speaks of Yahweh, not us, overcoming our shortcomings, going around all of our circumstances, Yahweh going around all our confusion, all our doubt, all our indecision, all our waywardness, all our political arguments, all our discussions, all the things on Shabbat, whatever, whoever, to take our mind off of Yahweh. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
And his irresistible presence speaks of Yahweh guiding us and leading us to the shores of his purpose and his plans. Because sometimes it doesn't feel like we're going to get to the shores of his purpose and his plans. But when you make yourself, and I make myself, irresistible, you go into a deeper level of his presence than you do just relational presence. We touched on relational presence. You have to get the tape from last week. I'm not going to go over that. And if you're in relational presence, you have a working active presence of Yeshua in your life.
Amen.
But we're talking about an irresistible presence, like with Moshe Rabbeinu, the author of Torah. It was the irresistible presence of Yahweh that led our forefathers right out of the wilderness to the promised land. Where did Moshe first encounter this irresistible presence? That yes, Moshe made himself irresistible first, but Yahweh always takes the first step. Yahweh has already taken the first step in our lives. He's already made himself irresistible. Now he's waiting for you and I to continue to adorn ourselves with the full armor of Yahweh and the things of Yahweh so that we are irresistible. But he first drew us by his irresistible presence, and we reciprocate by making ourselves irresistible to him. Now, where did Moshe Rabbeinu first encounter the irresistible presence of Yahweh that he was drawn to? At the Sneh HaEsh. What does Sneh HaEsh mean? Yes, very good, Bruno. The burning bush. At the burning bush, he was what? Drawn to a bush.
Right.
Now, what was his problem? What was his hang-up?
Bushes.
That Moshe had a thing for bushes. All right?
Go, yeah.
He was drawn to the bush because it was an irresistible presence of Yahweh that was drawing him for an assignment, for a mission, for a life, for a change, and for a future that he knew nothing about.
Amen.
So it is the same presence of Yahweh's irresistible presence that has brought you to salvation and now discipleship, but it is up to you and I to continue to dress and to seek the King and to make ourselves irresistible and to reciprocate what he has done in our lives. He learned at the burning bush, he learned Yahweh's name. The same name that Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov had known earlier. At the burning bush, Moshe found a purpose and a clarity that he could find nowhere else in his life. He was a confused, rich prince. And I got news for you. If Yahweh's irresistible presence doesn't visit us, we remain lost, dazed, wayward, and confused. Okay, so it's Yahweh's irresistible presence. We find it irresistible, so we want to be with the King more than we want to be with our spouse, more than we want to be with our children, more than we want to be with ourselves. We find his presence refreshing. We find his presence invigorating. We find his presence to be life-giving. It is irresistible. There is an attraction knowing that if we can get in his irresistible presence, everything will be all right. Everything will turn out all right.
Amen.
All the difficulties and the challenges and the obstacles in life will be overcome. Not by changing the circumstance, but by taking our desire off of people, places, and things and putting our desire on the King of all people, places, and things.
Amen.
So today we were challenged with a word from Yahweh. Some can receive it, some cannot receive it. Some should receive it, some should not receive it. But that's not the test. The test is, can you keep your eyes on Yeshua? Can you continue to go into his irresistible presence? Because whatever he has to offer us is better than the fighting in our marriage. Is better than the fighting with our parents. Is better than the job pressure and the stress of finances. It's better than all that. So we want to be drawn to it, and the only way to be drawn to it is to make ourselves irresistible, so we can enter his irresistible presence, and that we put on the full armor of Yahweh. The helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith, the boots of shalom, our feet of shalom. We dress ourselves in his armor. So Moshe Rabbeinu found purpose and clarity that he could find nowhere else in his life. And like I've told you many times, it was Yahweh's irresistible presence that changed me. Because I had a college education, but I was a loser.
Exactly.
I was a loser at life.